Okay, I'm here with Monica Nugent from Little Comfort Nappies. Hi, Monica.
Hi, Rebecca.
And we're going to talk to you about your experience of using Real Nappies and also about your own business, Little Comfort.
Right.
So what persuaded you to use Real Nappies on your own children?
Um, to be quite honest, I had the idea while I was pregnant, and every time I mentioned it, people were putting me off and telling me that I was mad and that they were a lot of hard work and they were terrible when our mothers used to use them. So initially I put it at the back of my mind, but my daughter was born, and after I saw the amount of disposables, like at this stage I didn't know that much about the environmental impact that the disposables are having on our environment. So and the other thing was that money was a bit tight, and I was having to I was going to come at a crossroads where I was going to have to get a larger bin for the amount of nappies that were going in there, literally, because it was just the two of us initially, and with all the nappies it was either get a larger bin or don't know what to do with the nappies. So it was a whole load of factors. So and when my husband saw what was happening with the nappies, he kind of thought then, well, maybe the cloth nappies weren't a bad idea after all. So I started researching and looking into it, and to my shock was the environmental impact that they have, and then I just set out to find the right nappy, and I just tested loads of nappies, and in the end I sewed all her nappies because I just couldn't find something that I liked and that suited our needs.
Right, so you made your own?
Yeah, I ended up making our own, absolutely.
Ah, excellent, okay. And before you started, I mean, I know you mentioned that lots of friends were quite negative towards it. So did you have any particular concerns about using Real Nappies?
Probably my initial concern was everybody was telling me they're hard work. That was the one thing, and that they were icky and yucky and disgusting, and the cleaning up and all these kind of this and that, and I kind of after she was born and that I actually started trying the nappies, I thought, well, they can say what they like, I'm going to do my own thing, and if I find that it's all true, well and good. If it's not, great. So when I started using them, all those concerns just went away, because a nappy is a nappy. It's dirty, whether it's a disposable or a cloth. You still need to wipe your baby's bum. So, you know, the ickiness is the same as if it was a disposable nappy, and I didn't find it any worse than using disposables. So to be quite honest, all the concerns just went away, and absolutely not as much hard work as people were telling me that they were. Not at all. I washed 2-3 times a week, and to me that's nothing. It's just a wash load.
Yeah, sure. And were the people who were actually saying this to you, had they used Real Nappies themselves, or was it just a perception they'd picked up?
No, it's just a perception. It was just a perception. None of them had used them, and I only found afterwards, when I started to go to mother and toddler groups and baby groups, that I found a few that were using cloth nappies, which was great to find them. I was on at the time. I thought I was on my own.
Yeah.
But I found then that I wasn't, that I wasn't the only one.
So having that support actually really helps.
It did help, but like if I hadn't found others that would use them, I would have still used them. To this day, some of the family members would still think I'm mad. Like, so it is a perception. I think that's the most difficult thing that companies have to overcome. It's breaking down that perception about cloth nappies, but I think we're getting there, because when I launched my brand here in Ireland, there was very, very little awareness about cloth nappies, and we got very lucky. We were on national TV 3 times, and after that it skyrocketed, and everybody now knows in Ireland about cloth nappies, so it is breaking down that barrier and showing them the nappies and saying, look, they're not what you think. Just have a look and you'll see. And more often than not, they're actually nicely surprised.
Excellent. And so you mentioned that you made your own nappies for your children. And is that what started you off with Little Comfort?
Absolutely, it was, because not only was I finding it hard to find shops that were stocking them, or even online stores that were stocking them, I found that there was no Irish brand as such being stocked anywhere, or that it existed. So then, I'm an entrepreneur by nature, and it just, the light bulb went, and I thought, well, maybe here's the chance to do something, and get the word out there about cloth nappies, So it was probably, I've set up businesses before, and I can say that it is the most difficult business I have ever set up in my life. It was just the research, the amount of technology in fabrics, having to know everything about all the fabrics out there, which ones are better, which ones are worse, why, and then putting the right combination of fabrics together and getting a system that actually works.
Well, that just shows the amount of thought and care that go into the nappies that people can buy these days, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I spent 2 years researching, between shaping and testing fabrics, and you just can't put any two fabrics together. There is a lot of thought, and a lot of research goes into it, and a lot of hard work goes into it, to designing just one model of nappy.
And do you test it with families with babies? So they're actually tested before?
Yeah, well, my daughter was the guinea pig for the first 2 years, and she potty trained really early, which didn't help me, because she was out of nappies before she was 2, and it wasn't something that we actually planned to take her. We just thought that she could be ready, and one day we sat here. It was winter, and just took everything off at the time, and she was potty trained within the first day. I think it was. I think we were very, very lucky. But that ended my guinea pig, basically. So then I had to go and use my friends' babies as testers. Those babies now are out of nappies. So I have a few customers that I actually use as testers, and I send them the nappies, and sometimes I meet up with them, and obviously, because it's better to see for yourself, and obviously then for the usage, absorbency, and all that, they give me the feedback based on questions that I'd be asking.
Excellent. Okay. And so tell me a little bit about the Little Comfort range of nappies.
Well, we have the luxury bamboo nappy. That one we launched back in 2009. It's a 1 size. We started off with a 2 size, and we found that parents were wanting to get they were kind of reluctant of spending on various sizes, although there is the advantage of sized nappies, that they do fit a lot better on certain babies. Not all nappies shapes suit all babies. So we then merged the 2 sizes into a 1 size, and it's worked out really, really well, because when our 1 size nappy is folded down into a size 1 setting, it is the equivalent of the size 1 nappy we used to have. And when it's not adjusted, it is the equivalent of our size 2 nappy that we used to have. So it worked out really well in the end, and I get such lovely emails and people ringing up and saying, how happy they are and everything. And we've had a really bad recession here in Ireland. We still are in the middle of it. I think it's hit us a lot worse than the rest of Europe. And as a consequence, I was having people ringing up saying that they couldn't even afford buying our full-time pack, which includes most of the items that they need. So we thought, look, as a thank you to our customers, to give something back, we decided to do an economy range. So that's what we've done. It's exactly the same shape, but what we've done is the fabric is thinner, more lighter weight. It does require the parent, depending on the baby, whether they need to change a bit more often or not. but our nappies do come with 2 boosters in them. So, it is, even the economy nappy compared to many other nappies that we've tested, it is superior in that sense. So even though it's an economy nappy, it's not a cheap nappy as such.
Okay. And that birth to potty system, that
Yes.
actually does save parents money, doesn't it?
It does a lot of money. That's why we went from the 2 size to a 1 size. We also have extenders for those babies that need the waist extended. To be quite honest, we have had very, very, very few that have actually needed them. My daughter, who is she's just over 4 years of age, and she still fits into the nappy very well. So it does, and without any extenders.
Excellent, that's fantastic. And your nappy system is a 2-part system, isn't it? So
Yes,
it
it is,
has
yes.
a separate waterproof wrap.
Yeah.
And what do you think are the benefits of using a system like that?
In my opinion, it's more absorbent. You can tailor the needs with our nappy with the 2 boosters. You can start off with 1 booster, add 2. You can fold the 2 boosters up if you need to give you even more layers in any particular part of the nappy where your baby wets the most. We use the sized wraps on purpose, because the sized wraps finishes off the nappy. So even if the nappy could be slightly big on the baby, when you put the right sized wrap on it, the nappy then basically molds to the baby, and you get a lovely, lovely fit. I tried probably every system out there, 2 parts and pockets and all-in-2s, all-in-1s, you name it, I tried it. And for us, the 2-part was what worked best in terms of absorbency, mainly. Whenever I design anything, I design it with heavy wetters in mind, not just as a day nappy. Because the feedback I was getting from a lot of parents was that they were buying nappies, and then once the baby got to a stage where it wet more, the nappy wasn't sufficient anymore. So therefore, they were having to find ways to make this investment work for them. So we always design with heavy wetters in mind, so that if by chance your baby ends up being a heavy wetter, because you don't know down the road if it is or not, you know that with our nappies, you have a much higher chance that the nappy will suit your heavy wetting baby, basically.
Right, and with the 2-part system, you don't need to change the wrap every time, do you?
No, not at all. But what I do recommend to parents is to air them out. So have a 2 in circulation, and take one off, let it rest, and use another one, and then come back to that one on the next change. That way you are letting them air out properly, rather than putting on maybe a slightly damp wrap. Because even some wraps could get slightly damp depending on how long you left the nappy on, especially if you left it on too long. So you'll have, by airing them out seems to make them last even longer. You could use, 2 wraps for maybe 2 days.
Right, brilliant. That's a really good thing for people worried about washing and stuff like that, because that cuts down that slightly.
And they're so easy to dry. They come out of the washing machine nearly dry as well. So it's not, with regards to the washing, it's just wash and hang somewhere. You don't even have to hang them outside. They literally dry within a few hours. They're dry and ready to be used again.
Great. And we were talking earlier about some of the misconceptions around using Real Nappies, and as you mentioned, one of them is that they take up so much time. What advice would you give to parents who are worried about that?
I'd say not to worry about it. All it is putting in a wash in your washing machine. Just like I always say, it's just like any other wash load, and then dry whichever way suits you. Whether you line dry, indoor dry, use a bit of combination of air drying and finish them off in the tumble dryer. Whatever it is, it's it's the same as your regular laundry. In my opinion, that's the way I saw it when I was doing it, and it didn't bother me having to do an extra 2 or 3 wash loads a week, or 2 wash loads, whatever it was. I usually tell parents when they ring me up, I try and ask them. I try to assess what their mental state is with regards to what they really think of the cloth nappies, and whether are they bothered about an extra wash or 2 a week, or are they not bothered about an extra wash a week. You'll find some parents that would say, oh Jesus, an extra 2 washes, no way. But those parents that say, well, maybe just use a trial pack, see how you get on with, if you like them, and then come back to us if you're happy. Whereas other parents, I'd ask them, what do you think about an extra few washes a week? And they'll say, oh, no bother, I wouldn't mind at all. And those parents I'd definitely say, well, go for it, have a try, and come back for more if they suit you, But I think it is a matter of trying to see where the parents are in terms of, are they bothered about an extra few washes or not? And where are they sitting? Are they sitting on the fence about the whole cloth nappy thing, or are they one of these parents that say, I'm absolutely going to be doing this, I'm not using disposables, full stop? So I always try and gauge the customers, when they ring me up.
Yeah, that's an important point actually, when you say that you might give some customers a trial pack, because it is okay to use Real Nappies alongside disposables, isn't it?
Absolutely. I ended up using eco disposables at night because my daughter, at the time I didn't have this design, but at the time when I made the nappies for her, I was still in the whole research phase, and I hadn't found a combination of fabrics that would last throughout the night. It was only later on that, as the business progressed and as my research progressed, that I got to the right combination. But during the first, I think, year it was, I ended up using an eco disposable. I think it was a German brand that I used, and like, she was an extremely heavy wetter, that even a disposable, she would wake up soaking wet with disposables on, like, throughout the night. So she was quite difficult to find a nappy, or make a nappy that would suit her for the night time.
Right, okay. Before I let you go, Monica, I just wanted to ask you one last question, which is, what Real Nappy secret would you like to share with other parents?
I think the secret is, if you're interested in using them, try them out, and don't let misconceptions or other people, whether within the family or outside the family, to put you off doing it, because so many parents that I've spoken to regret not doing them because of what others told them. You need to try it for yourself, and I think that is the main thing. And if you're open-minded and you would like to use them, just go for it.
Excellent.
There's nothing wrong.
That's great advice. Thanks very much, Monica, for speaking to us today.
Thank you very much, Rebecca.